Fancy intro music, yeah! Woo!
Hey there, Capsulers. Welcome back to another Eve Echoes University 101 video where we're going to talk today about that thing, the Stabber. A lot of you have been getting new cruisers, and that, of course, includes some of the trainers some of you have gotten. And I want to talk about how to outfit them, how to load them out, and what you should do in terms of in-game fitting. Now, this will also cover some of the basics of all ships, not just the Stabber, but in particular, I'm going to focus on Stabber loadouts that I have. Also trying to look a little bit more towards of what's not going to cost you $30 million to run, because there's a lot of these loadouts that can be quite expensive. So let's do it. But actually, first, remember, every time I get a new ship, I give away an old one. So the Stabber trainer that I have, we're going to give away just like we did in the Corax video, but a little bit different this time. So what we're going to do now is, in the comment section below, you're going to post your best dad joke. Remember, original dad jokes, you're going to do pretty good. Ones that you Google, probably not. And we're going to let the people decide who actually wins. Whatever dad joke gets the most likes in a 48-hour period gets the trainer. I'll be tracking it, and we'll see from the moment this video launches to 48 hours after, that's who's going to get the trainer. Best dad joke. So everybody comment down below. It could be anybody in the game, doesn't matter where you're at. And it could be any level, any tech level. I will give you the ship even if you just started the game today. Doesn't matter. So if you want a free ship, well, get to down there. Anyway, the Stabber is one of my favorite ships in the game. Now, obviously, I love Minmatar, so I'm going to gravitate towards their cruisers, but there's several reasons why I actually like it, and we'll talk about that right now. Why wait? Because we're already here. So let's go to the market and kind of take a peek at these ships, and you go down to your cruiser level, and you're going to see this bad boy is very popular. You see a lot of these running around. I have nothing against it, nothing at all. Very good ship. Let's talk about the Stabber. So here you got this one and this one. There's also a trainer version. We're going to focus on these two, the trainer, the Stabber. Not doing the fleet issue because I don't think anybody out there who watches my videos is willing to shell out $71 million yet. But if you are, cool. I can tell you the bonuses of that later. 17.4 for a regular one. And if you want to go buy the trainer, well, that's going to cost you 3.6 because you can buy them straight from stations, and then people are reselling them because, you know, you use them and you don't need them anymore. But I'm still giving away a $3.5 million ship, so suck it up and enjoy. I'm going to switch real quick to my inventory screen, and let's look at ship hangars. So let's talk about the basics between the two. One of the reasons I like the Stabber is, and you'll notice that this is a lot of how Minmatar works, is speed, speed, speed. It's faster than that Caracal we actually just looked at straight out of the box. So you get the bonus to flight velocity. You see a 257 meters a second there compared to that Caracal, which is about 210 meters a second. So a speed boost, making this already something that you can use as a cruiser speed tank, or simply helping you get out of those fights a little bit quicker, because things can get kind of gnarly. And that matters. Trust me, it does. Some things are best for range. The Caracal is a fantastic missile range boat, but the Stabber has a little bit more versatility in my eyes, coming from how I've played with both of them. So let's talk about loading one out. I'm going to set active the trainer and talk about how I load out a close range ship. So I'm going to take two different loadouts, and you can use these on any of the Stabbers. But I'm going to talk about why I load them out this certain way. So let's take this one and let's start adding some fittings. So go to our fittings menu. Now remember, there are rigs. I have added one rig to this trainer. It is a damage bonus rig, which that's it. I also can add a shield bonus rig. I've got a bunch of different rigs here for different things, whether structure tanking, which I don't think is really a thing yet in the game, armor tanking, shield tanking. With it being a Minmatar Cruiser, shield tanking is going to be probably your best bet. And I guess now's a good opportunity to explain why it's the best bet. So I'll throw on the screen both ships in comparison, but just real quick to look at this one. If you come down and look at the basic info of a ship, and then go to attributes and fittings, you'll typically find what's stronger on that ship. You see this one is a little bit stronger in shield than it is armor as a complete bare bone structure. And then the structure one right there, actually, right there. And then you can actually see the warp speed of it. You can see the inertia modifier, which does matter, which is right behind me that you can't see. Sensor strength, all these little fun things. But this is the basic loadouts of the ship, including damage types, armor types, etc., etc. So I focus on shield tanking. So let's get back into our fittings menu. So we're going to talk about doing a close range tank. Now, I've got several different weapons to do this. I did go get some of the Jolt mediums, which is, you get these from completing storyline missions. They're much stronger than your typical auto cannon. But I guess for the purpose of this video, we'll load it out with regular medium autocannons. You can see the DPS difference, 28.18 versus 34.58, and that does matter. Let's go ahead and fit these out. Yay, it's going to be fun. Fit, fit, fit. Go, 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 go. Hurry up. All right. So I'm going to put out 4 of those, and then here's what I run, especially if you're going close range. You want to know Nosferatu or Feratu to get your energy drain in. For drones, I use acolytes because the primary type of damage you do in a stabber with cannons is kinetic, so you're doing mostly hull and armor type damage. This is going to be a little bit of a shield stripper for you. And then on my secondary, we'll just put that in the active tube. And then for my secondary one for this, a few different options. I usually go with a web of fire. I don't have a medium on me for some reason, but we'll just throw a small on there just to help slow down that enemy that might be chasing you or the one you're trying to target. This is extremely useful if you're fighting frigates. Frigates have a natural speed bonus where it's very hard for your larger guns to hit them. Webifying them slows them down, makes them easier for your guns to track. You can also combine that with tracking modules to then make sure you're getting the DPS against those smaller ships. Now let's move down to the bottom rigs. I'm going to throw on a shield. I'm going to do this right here. I guess I left my medium somewhere else, but just we'll throw on a battery. Batteries are a must for me. And then finally, I'm going to throw on an afterburner. Now I've got this one right here I can use, a medium afterburner, which is a, it's a dealer version. So it's another one of those it's actually a micro warp drive. Very nice. But for my afterburner, just throw on a regular Mark V medium. And you see my power grid's not overloaded or anything. And now we can see the basic of the ship. A 169.9 DPS, but it does require close range fighting. And this is going to be the one where I run. I'm going to get in at about 5 kilometers, do my damage, make sure my shield tank is always running. And if I take damage, I get out with my afterburner and speed. And we can go over basic combat tactics maybe at the very end of the video if we have time. So this is what I would load out for a close range fight. Remember, this is very different than what I would load out from a range fight, particularly from the weapon standpoint. And you see what I've got right up there. And this is on the trainers. Remember, one of the other bonuses of the real ship you're going to see is there's 4 slots down below instead of just 3. Now, I'm going to unclear all this. I'm going to take all these out because I'm giving the ship away, but I'm not giving you all the parts. You know what? Hell, if it has a drone in it, I don't care. Let's head back to our inventory menu and strip fittings. Strip it. Now let's go to our stabber, and we're going to set this one as if we're going to kite or long range fight, whether PvP or PvE. So up close and personal, you're focusing on speed and getting that shield up, so speed and DPS. A lot of DPS for those up close and personal ones, but you gotta remember you're gonna take more damage and draw more aggro. So you want speed to help nullify some of the damage you're taking, as well as keeping that shield up, and the Nosferatu and the battery should help do that as well. I don't usually run tracking modules, especially for up close and personal, because I use that for other things. So now let's talk about fitting the regular stabber for range. Now I'm not going to be using any accuracy fall off modules, but you certainly can here. I'm going to load out with medium strike cannons. Remember, this ship takes medium everything. Mediums, mediums, mediums. Another medium strike cannon. And another medium strike cannon. And finally, another medium strike cannon. Oh man, I'm surprised. How dare he use all these strike cannons? Okay, so let's go over here. We've got acolytes already in the box. We're going to swap in, put these here. Like I said, I run it for the same reason on the other one. I am also going to run a Nosferatu and a Web of Fire once again, even at range. The reason being is if you're solo kiting, solo PvP, or even group PvP, you might have those frigates who come out to you. This Web of Fire simply just saves your butt. There's a lot of things you can run there. That's simply what I put in my mid slot. You are more than welcome to do what you want. Now, a lot of you are going to look and say, hey, why is the DPS so much lower? It is and it isn't. So there's a couple things you have to remember with DPS. DPS is a combination of several factors. Your ship speed, the size of the target that you're trying to hit in regards to tracking, the actual range of those weapons, and the accuracy fall off those weapons. So when you look at DPS straight above, it is not a static number. Like, this is what you're getting. It is a perfect condition. This is what DPS looks like in this variable action. in real life, it's not necessarily going to be like that. I actually have equal DPS between my close range boat and my long range version because of accuracy fall off and how much I'm actually able to be in the battle and things like that. So let's get into loading this baby out. I'm going to do something that's going to be like, what is this guy doing? Now, there's a big curiosity about whether shield hardeners are working right now. I believe they are, but whether or not I actually run 2 of these. Yes, 2. Why are my medium batteries not here? But anyway, we're going to throw on a battery. And then finally, last but not least, once again, another afterburner. The reason I'm doing the afterburner is to make sure I can stay away from those battle cruisers I'm fighting. So if I go and do like a solo T7 or even a T8, you're going to need to keep range, stay away from some of those weapons, which are going to do massive DPS up close. But if you're hovering at 30 kilometers out, they're not really going to hit you that much. But even if they do, you've got double shields that you can keep up with the Nosferatu when those frigates come and drain from the frigates. And then you can use the battery to make sure it stays up. You can put a shield hardener there. The main key is shield tanking, and with a little bit of afterburner, basically always run afterburner. Always. Now, if you want a PvP, you can also throw on a warp disruptor, but we'll talk about warp disruptors and things at a later date. So this is my loadout for long range. It's not the best loadout, I'd say. There's other things you can do here to make it a little bit better, including accuracy fall-off modulators, but this is what I'm currently running because, one, a lot of the things that you can make this even better cost mucho dinero that not all of you lower-level players and younger players have. A lot of the veterans to EVE are raking in millions right now, and we'll talk about some easier ways to do that than some of the kiting we do, which does pay out well. I mean, I can grind out 10 million in a day pretty easily, but there are people who are doing 200 million a day, and you're like, how? We'll worry about that when we're past the 101 section. This is helping you get fitted out for really good basic use. And then once, of course, on my rigs, I'm running 1 DPS rig and 1 shield rig because why dedicate myself to 1? That would be smart. I happened to put 1 on there and the other one because I did not have another damage rig. I would have actually gone double damage here or an accuracy fall-off rig, which are both very useful. And I haven't done any of the mechanical rigs, but I have this one that I'm probably going to sell because it's ridiculously expensive. But this is actually very useful for this Warp Core Optimizer. Now, I'll say this, it costs over 10 million on the market right now, which if anybody wants to buy one of these, I've got a couple. Hit me up. I'll give you a discount if you follow the YouTube channel. Mention the YouTube channel, you get a discount. So, very useful for those ships that try to come at you. Remember, a Mark III Warp Jammer is a 1, so this would actually help nullify that and let you get out, or you could just put a couple of them on there and make sure that you're not getting jammed. But PvP, another video. So we have run a little bit long. That's the basics of loading out and how I load out in terms of short range versus long range. Shout out Captain Benzie, who also has a video on the Stabber that came out earlier this week. If it wasn't for that darn hurricane, I would have had one out earlier, but real life can stink sometimes. If you enjoy this video or if you have any questions about it, comment section below, hit that like button, subscribe, and I absolutely love you, adore you, whatever word I was trying to use. Ponfar, let's Ponfar! Anyway, ending awkwardly. Make sure you check out the Twitch channel, Eve Echoes, whatever. Just live long and prosper. Stay safe out there, Space Cowboys. Remember, shoot first. Stop asking questions. Just shoot first. An even better outro than the intro. Yeah!